Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today, this time on CBDCs. But before I get started, please click the like and subscribe button as it helps this channel grow very quickly. Now, today we're going to talk about a CBDC, what it is, and the dark side of it. So let's get started. So we see this. A central bank digital currency is a digital currency issued and governed by a central bank. In the case of the United States, a CBDC would be a digital currency issued and controlled directly by the Federal Reserve. CBDC is kind of like cash, which is backed by the Fed, and whose value is manipulated by the Fed's monetary policies. However, where cash allows you to transact anonymously, a CBDC would not. In fact, according to Financial Times, a CBDC would have to be tied to your digital ID. Now, they will know every single purchase you make. And I want to tell you something. I am not at all a tinfoil hat wearer. I'm a realist more than anything. Most of the time, I tell you exactly why you should invest in certain cryptos and why a CBDC is very important to, say, XRP, because it provides a lot of liquidity and it pushes the value of XRP up. So everybody that holds XRP should be in favor of a CBDC. But I want you to keep in mind something. A CBDC comes with a dark side. It starts with this. A digital ID would be a form of digital identity that would also be issued by the government and would be tied to everything you do. Think of it as a vaccine passport, but instead of it just being scanned when you enter restaurants or get an organ transplant, it would also be scanned when you buy gas, ride the bus, or order groceries. At least that's what the World Economic Forum envisions as part of the Great Reset. So think about it like this, okay? You want it to take off. You want these CBDCs to get built because you want XRP to make you rich. But at what cost? And I don't have a view. I'm not going to tell you my views on this one way or another. I'm going to leave that totally up to you. But I want to show you why this is important. So then we see this. Atlantic Council's Director Lipsky, 105 countries are working on a digital currency. So whether you like it or not, these CBDCs are coming. Digital currencies around the world are coming. They're going to implement it into our everyday lives. So think about it. When you want to go out to eat, you'll walk in the restaurant, you'll have to scan your digital ID. You'll sit down, you'll eat everything, and then at the end, they will take that money off of your digital wallet. Okay, so every transaction you ever make, they will know about. I see a lot of AI being tied to this also, because you can't rely on humans to keep track of all of this data. So I think when, say for instance, say you go to the doctor and he gives you a health report and says, well, you should cut down on eating hamburgers or things like that. We're going to talk about that later, how a CBDC and a digital ID can take things a little bit too far. So currently there are totaling 3 countries that have issued their own CBDC. And if we look at it right here, currency issued. Pilot plans to issue currency, exploring digital currency. That's where the U.S. is right now. Now, Nigeria, the Bahamas, and Jamaica are already currently issued. And we get a good look at how it goes in other countries because the U.S. is lagging behind. But some of you that are in countries where this is already about wrapping up and being ready to be implemented into your daily life, it could be a little bit different. You don't know exactly what you're getting yet. Then we see this. It's all part of the Great Reset. Bankrupt all countries and make money worthless by nonstop creation. The digital ID and digital currency will lead to globalist control. And the people that are in charge of this are a lot of people you know. There's Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Soros. These are the people that want to know what you're doing all the time. And then we see this. The EU sees digital euro as more efficient payment than crypto. Okay? Now, this does not mean that they're going to take XRP out of the equation, okay? They're saying that it could be a more efficient payment method. But the one thing that they're not telling you is this. Europe are better, the euro is dead. Can't raise rates to keep up with the US. That'll kill the southern countries. Can't keep printing to support them because of inflation. The only chance they have is a CBDC. And for that, they'll have to ban cash and Bitcoin. Because if there's an escape, that escape will be used. Christine Lagarde said that. And what is that escape? Bitcoin. Now, I am in no way a Bitcoin maxi. Take a look at my channel. Look at the videos I do. I talk about all ISO tokens. But think about it. That would be their only way of escaping, because Bitcoin doesn't track anything. So CBDC is 1 million times scarier than COVID. Not even close to comparison. Wrong thought, wrong protest, all your money is locked. That's how they can control you. Think about it like this. Right now, you could say whatever you want. If you don't like something, you could protest against it. If the government's doing something that you don't want, you have a voice. All of a sudden, you start speaking out, and next thing you know, they shut your money off. They no longer allowed you to transact, make payments. And then we see this. Hyperinflation, food crisis, stricter vaccine rules, EU identity, climate spin lockdown, CO2 budget, farmers angry, CBDC, gold back, more immigration, universal basic income, banks, central banks protest against the Great Reset. The thing is, they have to create a chaos and a crisis. Okay? We see crime ramping up everywhere. We see new COVID variants continually. But they have to create a financial crisis also. Think about it. You go to the bank and you try to get money out, and all of a sudden the bank is closed. And they're not reopening until they're told to reopen. Think about it like that. So now you have no access to your money. And they tell you it's all due to inflation and it's due to liquidity. So they need to fix this. You have to get on board with the new financial system, with CBDCs, with digital IDs. And I showed you in other videos how cryptocurrency is tied to the digital IDs, tied to the digital currencies, tied to CBDCs. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, I still want this because I want to get rich. But think about all the people that will be lost in this. Think about the universal basic income. In other words, you get a certain amount of money put onto your wallet monthly, okay? And that is all the money you get. So when that money's gone, you don't get more money. You can't just go out and make more money. You're going to get a universal basic income, and if you overspend, oh well, that is on you. Or maybe when you go to make a purchase, and that purchase is beyond your universal basic income, they don't allow you to buy what you want. In other words, an AI somewhere will tell you whether or not you can make the purchases you want to make. Then we see this. They want you to know everything. What you eat, drink, where you go, and how you get there. They want to issue a global ID, which essentially for digital currency, aka Chinese credit point system. So we can be forced into compliance. They will control what you can and cannot buy. That's what you need to understand. This is the dark side of CBDCs. The dark side of global IDs. Careful what you wish for. CBDCs will require citizens to have digital IDs, which means tracking and surveillance, which means human enslavement. Are you ready to be controlled by AI? Because digitizing all humans will lead to that very quickly. And if you take a look, there's Renaissance 2.0, freedom, sovereignty, agorism, permaculture, Bitcoin, body autonomy. And then on the other side, we see tyranny and social credit, digital ID, CBDCs, vaccine mandates. And that's what you got to take into consideration. I mean, you have to be very, careful what you wish for with this. So dangerous ground. Will you be happy when the government have full visibility of bank transactions and you or a loved one are denied treatment because you are fond of cheeseburgers? CBDC, be careful what you wish for. That's what I was talking about earlier, because your health records will also be tied to that. So say, for instance, you go to the doctor and he says, listen, your cholesterol's through the roof. You cannot be eating hot dogs or hamburgers right now. You have to cut back. So he goes over, types that into a computer, and AI gets that information. Now you leave the doctor's office and you say, well, I don't care what the doctor says, I'm going to eat a hamburger or a hot dog. So you stop off at, let's say, Mickey D's, and you order something, and now the AI tells McDonald's that you can't have it, so you can't purchase it. That's where this can be leading us to. And like I said, I'm a realist at heart because I like to know things that I can see. I like to believe things I can see. But I can see this coming. I see how AI is tied to cryptocurrency. Look at IOTA. It's machine to machine. All that data transmission, things like that. Now, say for instance, with your digital ID, right, you want to go and buy a house. Well, you can't afford the house that you want. Maybe it's a little bit pricier. So right now you would just say, well, I'll get a second job to pay the mortgage, until I get a raise at my regular job or whatever. In this system, you wouldn't be able to do that because you would be set a certain value. In other words, if the AI doesn't think you should be buying things, you will not buy them. And I just wanted to point out the dark side of CBDCs. Now, on the other hand, as an XRP holder, I think to myself, well, usher in the CBDCs. I want to get rich already, and maybe I could avoid this system. But I don't think there's any avoiding it. I've even seen people where they say, if a digital currency comes out in the United States, I don't care. I have stockpiles of cash. New systems will be created underground. That's tinfoil hat wearing. Thinking that you can create an alternative system to the new system. It's just not going to work. It can't work because you still got to be tied to the government. The government knows you exist. So you're going to be issued an ID whether you like it or not. And this system is coming whether you like it or not. Now, I see a lot of protests coming in the future also. People are not going to go for this in any way. But I think they're going to force it on us one way or another. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great weekend.